Hey guys, it's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome to another Disney slash movies from the 2010s month. And this is a Disney movie from the 1960s. I don't remember what year it was. The release was 2004. I think it was 1964. I don't know if it was 63 or 64, but it is from the 60s. It's a classic. It's a good movie. I have my issues with it, but it's the one and only Mary Poppins, the two-disc set 40th anniversary edition of the original Mary Poppins. I did see this movie when I was a kid. I saw it on TV. I saw it on VHS, and it's a really good movie. It's got a lot of merit to it. I think the cast is freaking awesome. Julie Andrews, beautiful. One of the few British actresses that I actually like the 10% of Brits that I can stand. She's beautiful in the movie. This is her in her prime. Has a beautiful singing voice. The songs are amazing in this movie. You know, they're so iconic. Step in Time and A Spoonful of Sugar Helps the Medicine Go Down. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. What's another scene? There's a lot of songs in the movie. You know, "Let's Go Fly a Kite." That's the last song in the movie. It's amazing. Just really good musical. It's got great cinematography. I think it's a very beautiful looking movie. Robert Stevenson directed it, and this was, I think, after Walt Disney had passed away. I don't know. Maybe it was around the '60s or '70s. But it's great cast. Dick Van Dyke, always a pleasure to see him. He's a good actor. He was really funny. I never saw the Dick Van Dyke show from the '50s, but he's a good actor. I've always liked Dick Van Dyke. Got a lot of respect for that man. The two kids are fine in the movie. I know the kid that played Michael in this movie, he passed away in the '70s. You know, it was a long time ago, so it's not like it recently happened. But it's a really magical film. This is definitely a live action Disney movie that, sorry Disney, this does not need a sequel. Emily Blunt is not going to bring the chops that freaking Julie Andrews did in the '60s. It's a different time frame now. A sequel's not going to work. It's going to be a shitty sequel that's many years too late. I mean, it was what, over 50 years later? No, it's not going to work. I don't need a sequel. This movie should stand on its own. I saw the Broadway musical a couple years ago. It was amazing. It was so awesome. There was a lot of added things. They added a song that was like practically perfect, which was not in the movie. It was cut. It's beautiful. It was a magical feeling, and I'm not going to get that with any sequel. I'm sorry, but the original. This is about the original Mary Poppins. The animated portions when they go to that area and in the, I guess it's in their imagination. I don't know because if it's real or if it's reality or fiction, but it's a Disney movie. You just go with it. The animation is stunning, hand drawn animation. Yes, I know this is a British film. I get it, but this is not a bullshit, boring Hammer film. It doesn't have a hobo with a stick. Wink, wink. This is a gorgeous woman with an umbrella that can act. That has won an Academy Award. This won 5 Academy Awards, including Julie Andrews for Best Actress. Fuck Hobo with a Stick. She'll never win an Oscar for Best Actress. Ever. Or Emily Blunt. Or freaking Catherine Waterston. Or whoever. Whoever you throw in my face. This is a performance of a lifetime. It's magical. It's really memorable. Mary Poppins is a very likable character. And like I said, it's a beautiful movie. Like, I love looking at the film. It's got great locations, you know, at least when they film it in London or wherever they filmed it at, it's really good looking. Great costume designs. But I do have some issues with this movie. My main issue, it's not the British accents. The movie is way too long. I'm sorry. I know this was the '60s. It was the era for musicals to be really long, like West Side Story, but good freaking God, this movie is way too long. It's 2 hours and 19 minutes. When I first saw this on VHS, I was like, oh my God, this movie is way too long. This and the original Doctor Dolittle and West Side Story, they should be edited because these movies are just too long. There's literally a scene in this movie that could have been cut out. Like the scene where I think Michael goes to the old man who's played by Dick Van Dyke and he said he has tuppence, and that scene goes on forever. It's boring. It just slows the movie down. It makes the movie feel way too bloated, and you didn't need that. You could have cut that out entirely. And I know it's the setup that the father, you know, he goes from being, you know, a stuck up, you know, businessman to being fun and a carefree father, which I like that transition. That works, but it was done better in the play. Here, it just feels way too bloated. And I'm sorry, a Disney movie live action does not need to be over 2 hours long, especially a musical. I can handle that in like the Alice to the Looking Glass because it's a fantasy film. It's not a musical, or Oz the Great and Powerful, but here it feels long. Like I'm like, God, this movie is way too long. There's like a 15 or more songs in this movie. That's the problem. It's just way too long. Also, there's a lot of side characters that kind of get lost in the shuffle. It's just a minor nitpick. You have the butler, you have the maid, you have the freaking housekeeper. You have a lot of characters. You have other people in the town. The animated characters. They're basically in one scene and then you don't see them again. So it's kind of a wasted opportunity. But other than that, I think the movie is really good. Just the long running time is going to definitely. I would not show this to kids that have a short attention span because it's really nice to look at and the songs are great. But I will wait till they're a little older so that they can process that this movie is really long. It's almost as long as the Broadway show that came out years ago. And I'm like, with a Broadway show, you get an intermission, you get a break. Here, there's no intermission, and it feels like it takes forever to get through the whole thing. That's my biggest issue. It felt like 3 hours for some reason when I first saw it. I'm like, good God, how long is this movie? I thought it was like an hour and 40 minutes at the most. That's how long the movie should have been. This film needed some editing because you get beautiful cinematography and really good performances, really good singing, really good animation in the thing. But that scene with the Tuppence, it goes on forever, and I'm like, please just edit this out. If I do see this movie again, I would have to fast forward those scenes because they mean nothing to me. They're just filler, and they're not needed. I'm sorry. No movie, no musical should be that long. Even movies like Dreamgirls, I thought it was too long. Like the running time shouldn't be epically long when it doesn't need to be. You know why Civil War worked for over 2 hours? Because I didn't feel it at all. It could have gone on for 3.5 hours and I wouldn't have felt it. But here, since it's a '60s movie and it's very low, it's a very slow burn. Especially Mary Poppins is not in the movie in the first 5 minutes. You have to wait until she arrives and then the movie really gets started. But any scenes that don't have her are really just they should have been cut entirely. But other than that, it's a really good classic Disney movie. I'm not going to knock at everything else. It's just that it's too long. I'm sorry. 2 hours and 19 minutes. That's longer than the last Star Wars movie. The last two hybrids that we got last year and in 2015. Here, there's no excuse for it. You can cut the movie. And I'm not going to blame Walt Disney. I'm going to blame the editors and the producers that they thought, oh, we're going to make it almost 2.5 hours, and people will sit in the theater that long. Nowadays, that would not work. How long is the sequel going to be? 2.5 hours or 2 hours and 45 minutes? No. A running time needs to be shorter. You don't have to make everything over 2 hours. If it doesn't need to be that bloated, just cut the fat and make the movie good. That way, you keep the pacing and everything else, and it works. Everything else in this movie works except for the running time. Fuck that running time, right in the face. But the film is really good. It has a couple features. This is the disc. This is Bert, Dick Van Dyke's character, and the I like that scene where he's like, "It's a jolly holiday with Mary." There's a Julie Andrews. Let me show her face. I'm trying to move the disc. I don't want to scratch it. I'll just take the disc out. This is her. Look at that face. That is a beautiful face. Even to this day, with white hair, Julie Andrews is still gorgeous, and she's still a wonderful lady. She's a legend. Your precious uh, flavor of the month British actresses now will never be as good as her. Just to let you know, just to point that out for if I change my mind, because I haven't changed my mind. I still am not a big fan of British films. I could see this one. I could see Doctor Dolittle, Horror of Dracula, yeah, but some of them just bore the piss out of me. And when they're 2 hours and 19 minutes, that is a problem in some cases. But anyway, it's enough rambling. It's still a good movie. I would say it is worthy to watch as a Disney classic that does not need a sequel. Just like Toy Story 4, I don't think it's necessary. But anyway, thanks guys for watching. Mary Poppins is a good film. I really enjoyed the Broadway musical from a couple years ago and have fond memories of the film. So it is what it is. But no, next time the sequel better not be as long. I'm sorry. It's not going to work if it's 2.5 hours. Trim the fat. Anyway, and I'm not interested in a sequel anyway. The story was told in one movie. You don't need to make a sequel to everything. Just a little note to Hollywood. We had too many bad sequels last year, and we don't need any more. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, liking, subscribing. I wanted to lie down. I had a long day, really tired. But anyway, thanks for watching my videos. You guys are awesome, and I will see you guys in the next one.